Hi, I've been doing some business with Adorama as an affiliate. On the top of SnapChick.com, there's a little section called The Things I Love. When you follow the links in that section and then purchase something, anything at all from them, you keep me making videos and running my site. They are a great company to buy from. I actually purchased my D3100 kit from them. And you know what? I've only ever gotten fantastic service, which for me goes a long way. Anyway, Adorama was nice enough to let me check out the Canon T3i. I'm so thankful to them for that, and if you like my site, do me a favor and check out theirs. Also, if you go to snapchick.com/T3i, you can find out more information on the T3i and about Adorama. So, without further ado, here's my review of the Canon T3i. This is the Canon Rebel T3i, or the 600D as it's also called. This is the latest in Canon's Rebel line, which is their entry-level DSLR category. The I on the end means that it is at the high end of the Rebel line though. Let's talk about some of the specifications and how they could be significant to you, and then we'll talk about its shooting functions. Also, I have posted some more information and some sample photos from the T3i over at snapchick.com. Now, this is an 18 megapixel DSLR with a cropped sensor. For most people, this is plenty to get you good, clean images. And for the entry level, this is class-leading resolution. The camera has a maximum frames per second of 3.7. In the entry level, we've grown accustomed to 2.5 to 3 frames per second, so this is decent. You've got an ISO range of 100 to 6400, but you can also expand it up to 12,800. You have a few options on image quality. RAW shooters will be happy with that option, but you also have a number of JPEG size and quality settings. You can also choose from many options to customize how your photo looks. You have all of the standard white balance options like auto and daylight, but you also have the option to create a custom white balance. In addition, you can fine-tune the white balance settings for your particular situation. You can also choose how color is rendered by choosing a picture style. You have options like standard, portrait, landscape, and monochrome, which all change how the colors look. For example, in landscape, the blues and greens are enhanced. You can also adjust sharpness, contrast, saturation, and color tone in each of these options so that you capture just the photo that you're looking for. You have 9 autofocus points, and there are 3 autofocus options for still photos. You have one shot, AI servo, and AI focus. One-shot autofocus focuses on the subject when you half press the shutter release button and does not refocus until you half press again. AI servo autofocus keeps focusing after the half press. It should track the subject, which is helpful if the focus distance keeps changing, like when you're shooting wildlife or sports. AI focus autofocus aims to switch between the two modes if it detects movement or no movement. You can shoot using live view also. Instead of looking through the viewfinder, live view allows you to view your scene on the LCD screen. Let's take a look at the camera body. There is a flip-out LCD screen, which is nice to keep the screen protected when not in use, and also when you use live view and are using a tripod, or other times when you aren't able to have the camera right in front of your face. There is also this quick control button, which will help you to make changes to commonly used settings without having to go into the menus. Now let's talk about the different modes that you can use when shooting still photos. You have basic modes, creative modes, and advanced modes. In the basic modes, the camera makes a lot of the decisions for you. You can choose a fully automatic mode, which will make all of the decisions for you, even pop up the flash if it's needed. On this camera, the automatic mode is actually called Scene Intelligent Auto. It will evaluate the scene and choose the proper settings for it, but we'll go beyond what most cameras' auto modes do by basically choosing which of the scene basic modes is appropriate. Now, the scene basic modes include portrait mode, landscape mode, and sports mode, just to name a few. These basic modes will allow you to get professional looking effects without really knowing how the camera is achieving them. For example, if you want to freeze something that's in motion, you can use the sports mode, and then you'll freeze the subject in the midst of the action. Or, if you're shooting a portrait, you can get a subject in focus, background blurred look with nice and smooth skin tones. Experienced users might skip the basic modes, but for someone learning how to use a DSLR, the basic modes can be a great way to get started and make great images from day one. The creative mode is P for program. In this mode, you control certain items like ISO, while the camera makes other decisions for you. The advanced modes are TV, which is shutter priority, AV, which is aperture priority, and even M, which is manual. In these modes, you have much more control over the camera settings. In addition, there are two unique modes, ADEP and Creative Auto. ADEP is automatic depth of field. It will detect the subjects, then ensure that all of them are in focus. Creative Auto allows you to choose certain characteristics of your shot, like color, background blur, drive mode, and flash. It's a good way to start customizing how the camera behaves. While we're talking about shooting options, let's talk about light. You have a pop-up flash on the camera, which you can have meter through the lens or control the output manually. It also has wireless flash controls where you can control compatible Canon speed lights from the camera itself. As for movies, the T3i can shoot video at 1080p. There is also an external microphone jack. In addition to regular recording, you can have the option to use video snapshot, which will take snippets of video in 2, 4, or 8-second clips. Then add them to an album and then stitch them together. That way, they can be played back all together without you having to use video editing software. After you take your photos, you have in-camera photo editing options as well, including creative filters. You can apply filters like grainy black and white and soft focus to your photos without even having to open photo editing software. My T3i came in a kit with an 18-55 lens. However, you can use this camera body with Canon's EF and EFS lenses. Last, but certainly not least, let's talk ergonomics. This camera is nice and light, which makes it especially great for on the go. It has enough rubber on it to make it easy to grip though too. So, there are people that would say that you have to have the biggest, most expensive DSLR to take good photos. However, I disagree with these people. This camera takes beautiful photos, and there is a lot of flexibility here. You have almost all the same options on this camera as you do with the more expensive DSLRs. I love the flip-out LCD screen, I love the microphone jack, and you can use buttons on the body or the quick control screen to make the most common settings adjustments. This camera is great for someone who is just starting out in photography, who wants to be able to learn, but also have a DSLR to grow with them. And if you're an experienced photographer and your camera is getting a bit old, or if you're looking for a backup body, the T3i might be a great choice for you as well. And like I said in the beginning, head over to SnapChick.com for more information and some samples from the T3i.